It happened again. Welcome to this episode of What's Going On in the Suez, Part 2. Another vessel got stuck in the Suez. I'm Sal Mercogliano, Associate Professor of History at Campbell University, former merchant mariner, and an adjunct professor of maritime industry policy at the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy. And yes, another vessel got stuck in the Suez Canal. But fortunately, it's unstuck and heading southbound as we speak. But earlier today, the southbound vessel, the Maersk Emerald, did go aground in the Suez Canal. It has been moved and underway under her own power. A fortunate happenstance here. So let's look at the situation and what has unfolded. So this is the report that came out from Leth Agencies. Leth is a husbanding agency, ship agent in the Suez. They send out daily reports on the number of vessels that go through the Suez Canal. This is their report. On May 28th at noon, Maersk Emerald faced engine troubles, grounded at position kilometer marker 98 in the Suez as vessel number 5 in the southbound convoy. Fortunately, the vessel was refloated only hours later. Traffic has resumed. Only minor delays for a few vessels occurred. This is her. This is the Maersk Emerald, the former Hanjin Africa. Hanjin Marine was a shipping line, went bankrupt in 2016. All its vessels were arrested and then subsequently sold. Many shipping lines bought them up. Maersk bought this vessel, renamed her the Emerald. And you can see her in her former livery right there as a Hanjin Marine ship. So this is Maersk Emerald right now, southbound, heading out of the canal. She has come out of the Great Bitter Lake, heading into that southern section. That's where Ever Given got stuck. Heading southbound. Maersk Emerald is a Singapore flagged vessel. She is smaller than the Ever Given. If we come back here, let's take a look at Maersk Emerald here. Let's pull her back up here so we can see a little bit more images of her and some details about her. She's at 366 meters, whereas Ever Given was at almost 400 meters right here. Here's our specifics right here for you. She was built in 2012, 9 years old, 13,092 TEU, draft of 15.5, length of overall of 366 meters, and a breadth of 48 meters. So she is heading southbound right now in the canal. She's in that southern section, heading down right now. If we look at her track, let's zoom back out here to her track. Her track we'll show here. Let's pull up the track line for the vessel right here. There you go. There's her track. She came out of the anchorage here off Port Said into the channel, heading southbound right here. And the colors here show you speed, one of the things you will notice here is all of a sudden it stops right here. They turned off their AIS. Their AIS went blank for a while, but this is obviously the spot where she grounded. It's interesting to note they talked about an engine failure. Ship lost propulsion. We have been talking about this a lot. The switch over from sulfur heavy fuel oil to low sulfur fuel oil has caused problems throughout the fleet with ships losing power. We've seen this time and time again. Is this what happened? We don't know. Ships lose power for a variety of different reasons. It could be this fuel issue, could be something else. What we do know is that when the ship did lose power, she was able to coast and kind of grind herself up against the shoreline. 4 tugs were able to pull her off. This is the story that came out of G Captain right here. Maersk Emerald briefly grounds in Suez, triggering flashbacks of Ever Given. I did have a flashback, I'm not going to lie. I was very worried when I heard a ship grounded in the Suez. Here's the report right here. Suez Canal has confirmed the incident. 4 tugs were used to refloat the vessel. Suez Canal notes the vessel was transiting in the northern end of the new Suez Canal where there are 2 lanes. Again, come back here. You'll see this is the 2-lane section. There were still ships behind her in that section. This is one of those sections where you can get dual passing here. This is one of the reasons they did this in the canal back in 2015 was to increase the number of vessels. They hope to go from 51 vessels on average up to 98 vessels and increase the revenue of the canal. They haven't done that yet. The scope and number of vessels haven't gone up. What they have done is cut down the operation of the canal during the working hours. They don't run 16 hours like they used to. It's much less time now to do it. She then triggers her AIS back down here. She triggers when she's back down here in the Great Bitter Lake. She fires it back up and she's back in there. And then they turn it off again until they enter back into the canal here. So again, we have an idea of what happened. Lost power, maneuvered down. and we show her moving again. A couple of things about this I will note. Number one, here's the Reuters story from it. Very quick story. Container ship broke loose, experienced problems with engine room off Ismaila during its passage southward through the canal, sources said. Again, not a lot of information here. I have to love the optimism of the Russians. This is from RT. I just did a general search on Maersk Emerald. I don't follow RT news by any means, but this came up and the title grabbed me. You know, cargo ship breaks down Suez Canal, but it's not as bad as last time. I love the optimism of the Russians on this. So it's not as bad as last time. You got to remember the Russians are really excited about when the Suez Canal closes because they're trying to sell their Arctic route. So whenever the Suez closes, it's very good for the Russians. They enjoy it immensely. But here's some images here that came up. I think these are really interesting. These were off Twitter. Pull them up here for you. There's the other reason I like this story, because we had images again, and always good to have images. Here she is coming in. You can see her right there. There she is coming out. This is one of those dividers in the canal right there, coming down. So fortunately, it was a brief incident, did not involve a lot of drama. They were able to pull her off fairly quickly. Again, she's substantially smaller, even though it doesn't sound that way, 366 meters versus 400 meters. The big thing is the weight, the displacement of this vessel. She is not 200,000 tons, and that's a big factor in it. I do want to show you the statement that came out of the Suez Canal Authority. If you don't follow the Suez Canal Authority on Facebook, I don't know what's wrong with you people. I do. I enjoy it immensely. So, and again, I apologize. This is the Google Translate, so you know it's not accurate entirely. But I do want to read it because I think it's very interesting comparing the tone of this incident to what's going on right now with Ever Given. The team, Osama Rabah, head of the Suez Canal Authority, said that the navigation movement in the canal witnessed the crossing of 68 ships in two directions with a net load of 3.6 million tons. So 68 ships today moving through the canal. Reassuring message regarding the regulation of channel navigation at its natural rates, emphasizing the authority had the necessary rescue experiences. Yes, they have necessary rescue experiences. They spent 6 days getting Ever Given out. And infrastructure needed to deal with emergency situations, especially after the opening of the new Suez Canal project. Come down here to this part. The team indicated in his regard that the authority quickly dealt with the sudden failure in the engines of one of the canal crossing ships, the Maersk Emerald container ship, as it crossed today with the North Canal, emphasizing that the authority dealt professionally with the sudden situation where the ship was misdemeanored after a sudden failure. I think that means kind of, stuck. Sudden failure in the ship's engines and routers. Not sure what they're talking about right there. Pointing in this regard to the immediate action of the authorities' rescue group to deal with the situation and carry out rescue and floating work through 4 locomotives. Those are tugs, presented by the tug Blessing 1 with a 160-ton tightening force as they immediately dealt, and the ship resumed its crossing through the channel after repairing the malfunction by the crew of the ship, and is now in the Great Lakes waiting area to check on its artistic state. I think it's mechanical state. Anyway, let me summarize that real quick. First off, they're pointing directly at the blame on the vessel. Obviously, it's the vessel. It's mechanical. It had everything to do with the vessel, nothing to do with the Suez Canal Authority. More importantly, the Suez Canal Authority had the salvage vessels in place, the rescue vessels in place, and they were able to minimize this action all entirely. Go on here a little further. Head of the authority explained that the navigation movement on the channel was unaffected as the north convoy was diverted to cross through the eastern division. In other words, they used the southbound they used the other branch to cross the new Suez Canal, which proves the importance of the new Suez Canal in raising the safety rates and increasing its emergency capacity. Noteworthy, the Maersk Emerald container ship flying the Singapore flag, 353 meters long, 48 meters wide, 15.5 meters submersible, and a load of 146,000 tons. So 50,000 tons less than Ever Given. Give you an idea, modern aircraft carrier is about 100,000 tons, so about half of that difference right there. But most importantly, they were able to get the vessel off and keep her moving. We've seen vessels ground in this section of the canal before. Again, one of the things that's going on right now with Ever Given is the statement by the Suez Canal Authority, Chairman Robbie, talking about the fact that Ever Given was going too fast, and the reason that she was going so fast made the situation much worse. It grounded the vessel more heavily. This vessel lost power, was never going extremely fast in the canal. If you go back up here to the route here, she was in where she gets stuck up at this point. she's only going a few knots at this time. She's only going a few knots at this time, 6, 7 knots probably, when she grounds at the time. And again, this canal, the northbound canal, was still open. So vessels behind them, after vessels pass, could route in here and come out. So again, we did not have a catastrophic closing of the canal. We know right now that the vessel, let's see if we can go back here and see where she's at right now. Let's pull up Maersk Emerald right here. She's heading southbound on her way. She was en route to Oman, heading to Salah in Oman. Let's pull her up here on the canal. There she is. And so she's continuing on her voyage, heading at 10 knots, a little fast through the canal right there. But again, making up some speed and time right there, heading through the canal there. And you see her heading southbound at this time. So anyway, a little update, a little bit of anxiety with the closing of a canal. But again, these will happen. We've seen these happen. But it's going to be interesting to see how the Suez Canal uses the ability to clear the Maersk Emerald from the anchorage so quick, and showing the resources and tools they have versus everybody's favorite, Ever Given, sitting up here still at the Great Bitter Lake, waiting to resolve this. So anyway, unexpected episode here. So if you enjoy the episode, please subscribe, hit the like button so that other people will find the video, share it, let other people know about it, hit the bell so you'll be warned of new videos as they come out. Because again, as you can see, no telling when videos will come out as events happen worldwide. So this is Sal signing off.